I've learned a few important details about this phone that have turned my fear and my disappointment into genuine excitement. The Galaxy S23 Ultra is worth your attention. Okay, it's time to talk about this design.
How good this phone feels in my hand.
And I know, my first impression was to cry myself to sleep. It's a little boxier, both the phone and the S Pen that still comes included, which I think is an aesthetic perk as well as a functional one, because they've sharpened it up in a way that the phone is actually more comfortable to hold instead of less comfy.
It feels more comfortable in the hands, less of that curve.
They've made it somewhat less curved, which means you get more usable flat area of the screen before it starts to slope off. It's a really good, careful balance.
It definitely feels very grippy now, whereas the S22 Ultra felt a bit more slippery.
And also, Samsung swapped out the Corning Gorilla Glass Victus Plus that their phones used to be coated in for Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which is a really interesting material.
It feels solid, but there's a slight gap between the frame and the back glass, and I've had some dirt get in there.
Still has the best stylus in a smartphone in the world. It's nice knowing I can at any time mark up a screenshot or sign a PDF.
And you can still use it remotely, so you can use it as a trigger for your camera.
I've only used it to write down some notes for this exact video, but realistically, I never find myself using it on a regular basis. Like, I get that for people who use it to sketch or write down some quick thoughts, it is useful, but for the general public, which is like 95% of users, typing will always be faster and more convenient.
Now the S Pen, again, hasn't really evolved for this generation, but it is a feature that you won't find in other flagships, as pressure levels are on point. Now personally, I only occasionally yank out my S Pen in order to scribble some notes or sign a document.
Tagline of the S23 Ultra, its 200 megapixel main camera. S23 Ultra is going to take really good photos. And so what's really exciting is that even with more pixels to be processed, the newer camera is capturing photos distinctly quicker than its predecessor.
Which brings us finally onto another reason beyond the S Pen to grab the S23 Ultra, and that is the all-new 200 meg adaptive pixel HP2 camera. Hands down, this is one of the best smartphones for capturing memories and making them look really bloody good.
The biggest hardware improvement for the cameras is the new 200 megapixel primary camera.
The quality of the front camera has gone up.
You've now got portrait video in 4K.
On this phone, anything past 10x is where it really shines compared to others.
I found this new 200 megapixel sensor to be noticeably sharper, even when taking the usual 12.5 megapixel photos when compared to the S22 Ultra's 108 megapixel sensor. There was also much more detail when I zoomed in, which I absolutely loved. And there was no more softness on the edges like the S22 Ultra suffered from.
The reason why I'm calling storage a win is that this is no ordinary 256 gigabytes. This is the fastest flash memory in the world.
But hey, it's all a lot of bollocks anyway, and who really cares because the performance is top notch here.
S23 Ultra feels the fastest and the most fluid.
This is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, so specially tuned for Galaxy devices for better performance, better gaming. As you know, Genshin is that game that, look, it tasks a lot of system, and we've seen the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 really perform well.
The Galaxy S23 Ultra runs Android 13 with One UI 5.1 smushed on top.
First major upgrade for Samsung's Galaxy S23 Ultra is the performance.
It is powered by a brand new processor.
You cram in an almighty battery. And so it's not a massive shocker that Samsung has crammed a 5000 mAh cell inside of this frame. And the battery life on this thing, oh, forget a chef's kiss, it's a full-on chef's snog with extra tongue action and some awkward but strangely agreeable groping.
These phones get some serious battery life gains. So combine this excellent battery life with a pretty solid 45-watt charging, and you've got yourself a battery monster. But as far as just like nailing all the marks across the board, yeah, this does it.
So far, battery has been good and you're getting better performance. So I really like that with the Galaxy S23 Ultra.
I've been really impressed with the battery life so far. I never struggled to make it through a full day on a single charge.
It's gonna last you all day, rest assured.
Battery life. So I'm not sure how many of you noticed, the S23 Ultra has the most impressive battery life.
Well, you've got 45-watt wired charging and a lovely spot of wireless charging as well. So it's not the nippiest around, but it's certainly quicker than the iPhone 14 Pro Max.
And much better than the S22 Ultra from last year. In fact, it's been so good that I wasn't able to kill it in a day, no matter how hard I pushed it. And when I did need to charge it quickly, it charged incredibly fast. It only took me about 1 hour and 20 minutes to fully charge it.
Class is in session, so listen up, Mush. The Galaxy S23 Ultra is the only choice for anyone looking for a premium mobile gaming experience.
Speaking of gaming, yeah, this is definitely one area where the Galaxy is superior.
This is a very solid gaming device.
Why?
You can max out any game on here, no worries. The S23 Ultra can get a little warm when you are gaming for a while, but not so toasty that you start to worry or the performance cocks up.
Because it's equipped with a 4nm application processor, a larger vapor chamber cooling system.
Stuff like this is why I love tech. You can just play whatever you want to play at maximum settings, and the phone is just gonna fly through.
Better gaming.
What you can expect is blisteringly fast action and impressive efficiency too. Thankfully, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 can ably handle any game you chuck at it, like Genshin Impact, again on those maxed out detail settings with a perfectly fluid frame rate.
So if that's something that you're concerned about, how this phone fares with different games, literally there's nothing to worry about.
You're getting a full-fledged gaming experience.
You gotta share. A 6.8-inch Quad HD plus dynamic AMOLED 2X display, 1,750 nits of peak brightness, and up to 1 terabyte of storage. Got it?
It's a large, beautiful screen that looks like it's just a panel of glass that you're holding in your hand.
That display goes up to 1,750 nits. Really nice, bright display, which I think is really important when you're gaming.
The next thing you need to know is that the S23 Ultra has a brightness vision booster for enhanced outdoor visibility. Kind of like your Super Kitty night vision.
Well, basically every flagship phone these days comes with a stunning screen, and the S23 Ultra of course does not disappoint. That 6.8-inch AMOLED panel spaffs out pin-sharp eye candy courtesy of the Quad HD Plus resolution. And man, do I love those vibrant visuals with this vivid mode switched on.
Seems to finally be getting serious when it comes to video too, which benefits from the light gathering ability and faster focusing of the new sensor. It benefits from the real-time noise reduction thanks to the higher intelligence of this new chip. It benefits from an optical image stabilization system that has 2 times the range of motion and therefore ability to stabilize compared to last year.
And video was a pretty big upgrade too, especially night video. Like, Samsung has really improved their noise reduction.
Now in video mode, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is once again an absolute belter. You can shoot up to 8K resolution video, now with a wider than ever viewing angle and at 30 frames per second, or choose from 30 or 60 FPS in 4K mode. Either way, the visuals are crispy, the colours are true to life, and that stabilisation is tastily smooth even when you're wandering about the place and panning the camera.
Few side-by-side low-light shots, and there is definitely more texture and a little better control over the super bright spots, which is really important for nighttime cityscapes. And so I'm actually gassed to see what's going to happen when you pair that with the new astrophoto mode Samsung's added that optimizes capturing starry skies. Night sky shots are one of my favorite tests to run on any new phone, and so knowing that they've specifically optimized for it now, this is where it starts to get juicy.
I also found night mode to be better, more detailed, and overall a more natural look than compared to the S22.
Also upgraded the speakers, which I think is quite important because this is something they haven't really touched since 2018 with the Galaxy Note 9. They used to be top of the game. Samsung used to have some of the best speakers that you could get on a phone. And so I'm excited that they're trying to reclaim the reputation they once had. They bumped up the volume, but what I think you'll notice more is the bass, the fullness. It's almost surprising. You don't expect this amount of it to come out of a package so tiny.
Were the speakers. So I listen to podcasts quite often, usually when I'm doing housework. I don't really use headphones that often. I simply just use the speakers when I'm at home. And these are so much better than on the S22 Ultra. I found them to be louder, much more bassy, and overall punchier than the S22 Ultra. All in in all, the S23 Ultra is an amazing phone. A full package that gives you everything that anyone would ever need in a smartphone.
Giving every single S23 purchaser a brand new 2023 Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip means that 2023 Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip means that I can finally sleep in peace.